He's 38, stable job, good apartment, emotionally aware, or so he tells himself. And yet, every time a woman gets close, really close, he finds a reason to walk away. Not because she's wrong for him, not because he doesn't care, but because something inside him whispers, this won't last, so why even pretend? Here's the thing nobody talks about: mature men don't self-sabotage relationships because they're afraid of love. They do it because they're terrified of being the version of themselves that love demands. Imagine this. You're 6 months into a relationship. It's good, better than good. She remembers exactly how you take your coffee. She laughs at your jokes before you even get to the punchline. She looks at you like you're enough. And then one night, lying next to her, you feel it. That tightness in your chest. That voice that says, what happens when she realizes I'm not who she thinks I am? So you start to pull back. Not dramatically, just gradually. You stop texting first. You need more space. You pick fights over things that don't even matter, and when she finally asks, what's wrong? You say, nothing, I'm just stressed. But the truth? You're not stressed about work or money or time. You're stressed that if you stay, she'll eventually see through the version of you she fell in love with, and that feeling is more dangerous than being alone. Let's talk about what's really happening here. Most people think self-sabotage is about commitment issues. It's not. It's about identity panic. Because here's what no one prepared him for. When a woman truly loves you, she doesn't just see the man you are now. She sees the man you could become. And for a lot of mature men who've spent years building walls, curating their independence, protecting themselves from past hurt, that kind of visibility feels like exposure, not intimacy. Exposure, psychologists call it vulnerability intolerance. It's when emotional closeness triggers the same fight-or-flight response as physical danger. Because somewhere along the way, he learned that needing someone means losing control, that being seen means being judged. That love eventually just turns into disappointment. Maybe his parents divorced. Maybe his last relationship ended because he wasn't enough. He leaves first, not loudly, by becoming unavailable, distant, busy. And here's the cruelest part. She notices. She notices the shift, the coldness, the way he used to ask about her day and now just scrolls through his phone. So she tries harder. She plans dates. She sends thoughtful texts. She keeps asking what's wrong, but the more she reaches for him, the more he retreats. Because her effort isn't reassuring, it's proof. Proof that she's investing in someone he's convinced will disappoint her. And he'd rather break her heart now than watch her lose respect for him later. So he manufactures distance. He turns minor conflicts into deal breakers. He starts sentences with, I just don't think I'm ready for this, and when she finally walks away exhausted, confused, and heartbroken, he feels two things, relief and regret. But here's what he doesn't realize until it's too late. She wasn't asking him to be perfect. She was just asking him to be present. The version of himself he's so afraid of showing her, the one that's tired, uncertain, still figuring it all out, that's the one she already loved. Because mature love isn't about finding someone flawless. It's about finding someone who's brave enough to be flawed with you. The irony? He thought he was protecting her by leaving. But what he was really protecting was the story he has been telling himself since he was young. If they get too close, they'll leave. So he leaves first. Every single time, not because she wasn't enough, but because he didn't believe he could be enough, while still being himself. And that's the real tragedy. It's not that he lost her. It's that he lost her while being convinced he was doing the right thing. Here's a truth most men learn far too late. The right woman doesn't make you feel like you need to perform. She makes you feel like you can finally stop. But you'll never know that if you keep running before the curtain even drops. So what does he do now? If you're that man, or if you've loved that man, here's what needs to happen. First, stop treating emotional honesty like it's a weakness. Saying I'm scared this won't work isn't sabotage. Disappearing without an explanation is. Second, understand this. Love doesn't punish you for being human, fear does. If you keep choosing fear, you'll spend your life surrounded by people who never really know you. And that's not protection, that's just loneliness in disguise. And finally, here's the hard part: you have to let someone stay. Not because they're perfect, not because you're ready, but because growth doesn't happen in isolation. It happens when someone sees you at your absolute worst and chooses you anyway. That's not dependence, that's trust, and trust, that's the very thing you've been running from your whole life. The good news is, it's never too late to stop running, but it requires something that most men struggle with: staying when it gets uncomfortable. Because real intimacy isn't built in the honeymoon phase. It's built in the moments when you want to leave and you make the choice to stay anyway. So maybe the question isn't, why do I keep sabotaging relationships? Maybe the real question is, what am I so afraid she'll see? And if the answer is the real me, then ask yourself this: what if the real you is exactly who she has been looking for all along? Not the polished version, not the one who has it all figured out, just you, messy, uncertain, still learning, and still worthy of love. Maybe the person you're waiting for isn't out there, maybe there, standing right in front of you, just waiting for you to finally stop hiding. Have you ever walked away from something good because you convinced yourself it wouldn't last? Let's talk about it in the comments. Thanks for watching, and if this resonated with you, consider subscribing for more content like this.